Because I'm all about trying to get different opinions, hearing both sides, and then making a judgment about it. So I always like to get my panellists to argue on certain issues. Last time Leo was on, he argued against the environment. I mean, not against environmental policies, just the environment. He just doesn't like the environment. But this time we're going to argue about the NHS. Now, I believe, first up, it's Erich McElroy. You're going to argue in favour of the NHS. So, Erich McElroy, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's something that, you know, I've lived in the UK for 21 years, so coming out of the American system, I think the NHS is actually quite a good thing, having seen the alternative. And, you know, I've had my experiences with the NHS. You know, my kids are alive today because of the NHS, because there's no way I would have paid to have them. They've genuinely ruined my life. If they're watching, kids, I do love you. But I mean, it's a weird thing if you're not from the UK to experience it. Like, I mean, I remember the first time I ever had to use the NHS. I just moved here, and I needed to see a doctor. I had I don't think I can say what the problem was. It was...
play it safe, then.
It stung. Let's just say it that way. And I didn't know what to do, right? Because we don't have... It's all of your healthcare in America is related to your job. So I went into the office, and I asked my colleagues, like, I need to see a doctor. What should I do? And they immediately were like, you can't. And I was like, why not? And they said, because you haven't registered with a GP. Because I didn't know you're supposed to do that, because you guys don't explain nothing to nobody. So I said, what am I supposed to do? I do need to see someone. And they said, you should go to A&E. And I'm like, it's not that kind of problem. I don't want to say what it is, but it's... but I wasn't wanting to go to the emergency room for this. Plus, in America, if you have to go to the emergency room, even if you have health insurance, you might have to pay a copay that could be $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 for a visit to the emergency room. And you can think of the bills people have with COVID right now. It's insane, right? So I was like, I'm not going. But then it really started. And then so I went, and because it got bad. And I went in, and I didn't know what to expect. I was ready to pay. I went up to the receptionist. I said, you know, I gave my name, and she just said, wait. And that was it. So I did. I didn't even wait that long. I saw a doctor, gave me a couple pills. Like, there has to be more to this. So I went back to the same receptionist at the end, and I said, what do I do now? And she said, you go home. Yeah, it turns out she was racist. But I mean, you know, I mean, it's an incredible thing to, like, I've only had to have one surgery on the NHS. I had a little belly button hernia because I was a little bit heavier than I am now, and my belly button just popped out like I was done. It was just like, and so I had to get it fixed. And I mean, there were moments where it all went well, but I don't know if you've ever had surgery and they draw arrows on you of where the surgery is going to happen, which does concern me that the surgeon wouldn't know where the belly button was. But he did, thankfully, and the only part of it, I would say, I came out, I woke up, and it was lunchtime, and the nurse came and gave me lunch and said, you must eat, and it was a fish pie, and it put me back in the hospital. But other than the fish pie, it's an incredible system, and I think we're blessed to have it.
Erich McElroy, everyone. So I'm now, my mind is being racked. I'm trying to think what condition you had, but we won't. Maybe you'll tell me afterwards. OK, now we're going to go for the other argument, the other perspective. So presenting the argument against the NHS is Leo Kearse.
Yeah, look, I think what the NHS do, well, some of the NHS workers do is great. Have we got any NHS workers in here tonight? Oh, we do. Oh, yeah, good for you. I mean, I'll applaud you right now. That is great. I take it you're front line, though, not admin.
No, back office.
Back office, then I take my applause back. Standing at a computer, still skipping the queue at Tesco and getting bunches of flowers. No, this is the thing. This is the thing I don't like about the NHS. Like, I prefer private medical care. I know the NHS covers everybody. It works out cheaper and more efficient, but I prefer private medical care because you don't have to be grateful. Man coming out and clapping every Thursday night like, oh, thank you, NHS. Thank you for doing the jobs you willingly chose to do in return for money. Like, you're getting paid, right?
Very well.
Very well. See what I mean? See what I mean? That's your taxes. That's your taxes, getting a pension and everything. Man, the amount of stuff we had to do, banging pots and pans together. You know how many frying pan handles I went through this pandemic? Now I'm in the hospital every 2 weeks, not with coronavirus, with burnt hands from trying to flip a pancake. Man, we don't do that for any other service. The only other service, like, nobody else gets clapped like that. The only other people who get clapped for fulfilling their basic job obligations is Ryanair when the plane lands. And I think in both cases it's because we know we're total scumbags and we've drastically underpaid for a service and we are just amazed to be alive. There is no way a £5.99 flight to Lanzarote should land anywhere near the tarmac. Man, that thing should just break up over the Atlantic. We'll go screaming into the sea. We don't even mind. It's £5.99. What a bargain. Can't even hug your family goodbye because you haven't paid £4 extra to sit next to each other. Man, you know they do that, right? Man, you get to check and they're like, do you want to sit next to each other? And it's like, why can't we sit next to each other? We're getting on the same plane. And they're like, no, unless you give us £4 extra each, we're going to move you around on the little seating chart because we're horrible people. Man, you're not getting any extra service for that. You're literally just paying them to not be horrible to you. That's like if you went to a bar and you said, can I have a pint of lager, please? And the barman's like, certainly, that'll be £4 or £8 if you don't want me to lower my testicles into it. It's that kind of... It's that kind of thing. Also, all the people, everybody on Facebook always comes out in favour of the NHS. Well, the NHS saved my life, and it's never somebody whose life should have been saved. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we should let natural selection do its thing. And also, I want to be treated like a customer. With the NHS, you're treated like a burden, which is correct because you are a burden on the NHS. But at least, you know, private medical care, which, I mean, Erich says it costs, you've got to pay all this money. You don't really. It's like the licence fee. You pay it if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, at least you get treated like a customer. There's none of this, like, oh, you've got to phone up. You've got to phone up between, like, 7:01 and 7:02 a.m., you know? That's what I want. So, basically, I don't like the NHS, but I hate Ryanair a lot more. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, Leo. OK. I mean, I'm sort of persuaded by both there. I don't know what you guys think about that. I'm torn on this one because I saw a documentary about the American health service. It does trouble me, actually, quite a lot. Because if you're poor and you get ill, you die, basically. Isn't that sort of...
Basically, or you go bankrupt. Or, you know, you had the case that happened within my family is we had someone that was sick. Their child was sick. And they had to stay in their job because if they left their job, they wouldn't have had health care to take care of this child's, you know, horrific illness. There's no cure for it. So she had to stay working in order to get the health care that they deserve for their child. And that was the life choices that they were having to make because there's no safety net. There's no protection for anyone. There's people who believe that basically you earn health care.
Yes.
It's not a human right. And that is horrific.
Yes, so surely, Leo...
How awful that people have to work for a living.
Yeah, it's not...
Leo, you know, whenever you come on this show, you are even more right-wing than I think, you know? You're just right over there. But, I mean, you must appreciate, like, it's kind of a luxury to have free health care.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think socialised healthcare, I mean, I'm right-wing, but I'm a pragmatist, and socialised healthcare is, you know, the most efficient way to deliver healthcare to the best healthcare to the most number of people, and we actually pay less per head on the NHS than in America they pay on the assessment and all, because when it's done in the American way, you've got to assess everybody. It's like car insurance. You've got to assess everybody so they pay the right premiums, and then you've got to assess their claims as well. So all that bureaucracy adds up to huge overheads.
So you just basically undermined your own argument there, but that's OK. That's fine.
But I think the NHS could be reformed, and I don't understand why people are you know, so against privatisation coming into the NHS. I mean, would you want the NHS to manufacture its own ambulances? It's like, no, we outsource the manufacturing of ambulances to Mercedes or whoever makes
Well, OK, well, look, I think they've both made some excellent points, some more flippant than others, and I think what would be quite good is to gauge the room and see who is more persuasive. So if I can, just by a round of applause, let's work out who won that debate. OK, so if you think that Erich presented the most persuasive, I'm going to give him a round of applause now, please. OK, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Tempered. It was tempered.
It doesn't matter. That's not... You did well.
That's condescending.
But deliberately so. Let's hear for Leo Kearse. Who thought he won? OK. Oh, I might have guessed. It's typical from this audience.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.